But anyway, I want to talk about the lady that in the Bible days when the men caught this lady in adultery. I don't know why they didn't drag the man out, but you know how they say about the man and the woman, whatever. I guess they felt that she was wrong. They were both wrong, but they caught her in the very act. They caught him and her in the very act. But they dragged her out and laid her before Jesus and saying, we caught her in the very act. Like, what you gonna do? So Jesus ignored, and then he said, let those who have no sin, in other words, cast the stone first. They had all end up leaving. And he looked there and said, where's your accusers? There's none. He said, I don't condemn you either. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this. Jesus said, those who come to me, I will in no wise cast out. If you come to me with 12 kids with no husband, or 12, a man committed adultery, whatever, he will in no wise cast out. You ask for forgiveness. So you don't know if, and the reason I'm saying this because this pastor, and this is like more than once that happened, and you'll probably guess who it is. Who are we to judge another person that God has created? Because there was a female, and it's old news, but it doesn't matter because it happens all the time. And she wanted to bring her kid in. She wasn't married, okay? Things happen. We make bad choices. I'm sure he made bad choices. I'm sure she asked for forgiveness because, first of all, she wanted to bring her kid in to be dedicated to God. And the Bible says, Jesus, suffer not the children. Jesus says, suffer not the children. In other words, allow them to come to me. It doesn't matter. That person, that kid has not, we have to present ourselves before God. And when I was born, my parents presented me to God. So she wanted to do that. Whether the guy left out of her life or whatever the reason is really none of our business. But she was rejected. And when and this pastor rejected her, he rejected Christ. He rejected his child. She wanted to bring her child up in the way, and then this could have gotten this girl more involved in the church. It's about souls. So this is what Jesus said. Jesus called those type vipers. They're Pharisees. They're like Sadducees. And these Pharisees were actually priests, elders, just like, they were high calling. But their traditions that they have made, like, well, what happened? Well, that's the pastor's rule. The pastor's rule, what is Jesus' rule? What did he say? You can't make things comfortable for you. This is not about you. This is not about an organization. This is about Christ. This is about soul saving. So you're going to put somebody out and then put somebody out because whatever ties they had. You don't know people's position. And even if they didn't at that time, they know how to ask for forgiveness. They don't ask you for forgiveness. They ask God. If that be the case, the people, there's, I'm not trying to say, you have to do this, you have to do that. Everybody has their rules. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Having your own rule in the church. You have to pay a certain amount, or I have to look at your paycheck stub. Really? Who are you? Now, it's about money now. And I'm telling you, these people think the demons can touch people and make them like, whatever. Whatever feeling you have. I don't know. The devil can make you feel good, put lust in you, and you yield to that. That's feeling something, right? So, these men judge these people. You have the nerve to put them out. When the Pharisees put the saints out of the synagogue, do you think Jesus was pleased with that? Jesus said, you're vipers. Do you know what a viper is? And somebody might say, oh, it's a snake. It's poisonous. It has venom. He called you vipers. vipers sneak, they slick, and they attack. He called you hypocrites. Hypocrites. You say with your mouth, but you're far from me. And these preachers don't think it's them. They think, I don't feel condemned. You're not going to feel anything because your body, your temple is Ichabod. What you think you're feeling a touch from God, is the devil. There is no way in the world that you can be anointed from God and treat people the way you do. You got to go. I'm putting you out. No, I'm not dedicating. Who are you? Your flesh that need God. You might have started with God, but your end way is wicked. Don't you know these people that Jesus called hypocrites were people who went to the church, the synagogue? They went to the church. They believe in God. They did what they're supposed to do as far as keeping the commandment. But they had rules that Jesus did not agree with. The Father. He said, my Father has nothing to do with that. But you don't see yourself as Pharisees. Jesus says, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. The doctrine, you set this rule for your congregation, you make this oath, and you stick by it. God has nothing to do with that. God has the rules. He said, follow the commandments. Keep my commandments. If you love me, keep my commandments. Don't stop anybody from coming to me. If there are sinners, God receives. You don't save, God does. Jesus saves. And you are to open up. But you're too busy on the road. Jesus said, it's all about money. And I've been to a lot of them. And it's all about, there's nothing wrong with people rejoice and get together, but this is all about shouting, feeling something, hitting that music, bringing, I don't know how many offers they took up. I need 15 people to bring $1,000. You've been doing it all week. So now you're going to inherit more than $100,000? You're going to split, you're asking for it. If you're worthy of your labor, people will bless you. You're asking for amounts. Jesus didn't ask for the money. You keep saying, follow Christ. As Paul say, I follow Christ, follow me. You're not following Christ. You're following yourself. And you know what? It's a real shame that you're going to end up in hell. But you don't think so, because you think you feel something. And you think because you keep doing the same thing and then you might get a blessing, yes, the gift that God gave you is going to work because it's God's gift. He gave it. But in the last day, when that day come, the ones who were prophets, who had that gift, and said, didn't I prophesy in your name? Nobody else's name. Didn't I cast out devils? That was the gift. But you're Ichabod. You really think just because you have your gift flowing that God is accepting you and God doesn't have a problem with it? He does. And why are you living contrary to the Bible? Everything that Jesus said about not rejecting, you do it. But he told the Pharisees in their face, in like 3 different cases. One case, he sentenced them to hell. He said, you will go to hell. You will be in hell. That's where you go. Then another time he says, you will not see me again until you see the Son of God coming. Hypocrites, vipers. He called you dead bones. But you don't get it. Because you think because you're on TV, and you think because you're going across in South Africa and on in London and all these other places and making millions of dollars singing. You know who I'm talking about. I don't even have to say the name, but I said it. Hypocrites, all of you, and the ones who are following him, and whoever else, there's many more. And the congregations they're lost because they don't even have 2 pennies to stand on, but they will stand and defend unrighteousness. They are bewitched. They're bewitched. How long will you halt between two opinions. It's either mammon, which is money, or God. Why did he say that? Who was he talking to? Was he talking to the believers? These are people who know the way. You're caught between two opinions. The people, and you know, I was thinking about how great God is. I was looking at the mountain, and my mind went back to when God created, you know, when he made people in the beginning, he made giants. He said the men that I have created, he created giants. Well, he made them, he started off with giants, and then as years go by, we went shorter and shorter because our lifespan was short. But anyway, I was thinking, Lord, why are there mountains? It's just like there's mountains all around the perimeter, and we're sitting in a hole. Is it because every place that you see a mountain, God, everything is you. If you created the mountain, and in the past is where you dwelt, in the high place, I'm thinking there's mountains everywhere. It's like, because I have mountains everywhere because that's my dwelling place. But we already know that he dwells in our heart, you know. But in the beginning, I was just thinking, and those men and women who were drowned, it wasn't just a flood. I was just thinking, I said, how can a flood? I said, I know people can swim and they were tall. I said, but it has to be a tsunami. It was a tsunami. Why? Because when you read in Genesis, it not only rained 40 days and 40 nights, but the waters, how did it say that? Anyway, read it, and it was just saying, when the water, the sea opened up and when the sea opened up to start flood, that's a tsunami. But just read, because you would think, couldn't they just hold on to something? How can they all of them drown? And you can swim for so long, and you can't make it. But it says that the sea, in other words, broke. When the sea break and the water goes, and just like the dam goes, I'm not saying it was a dam then, but when the sea break forth, the waters are going like that. It's a tsunami. It's a wave on top of the rain. Wow. But anyway, I was just looking out there, and I was thinking, but people, over and over and over. I guess we have to work until we die. We're gonna have to say it until we die. These men and these preachers don't really look at this stuff on YouTube too much, except if it has something to do with music, or it has something to do with hearing their preaching that was recorded. And I'm sure they probably do run across it, especially if their name is on it. I don't have to put their name on it, but it's just the fact. And maybe I should. And I'm saying this, I don't have a title for this yet, so maybe I should. Because it's got to be stopped. This is ridiculous. And God's sending all types of people to tell you, you know. And many people think it's them just saying their opinion, like, well, I'm gonna keep on doing what I want to do. I'm gonna keep on traveling. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I don't care about what you say. You don't know. God's speaking to those people. How else can they get to you? You're too stubborn. And I know you hear something, but your mind argues with God and say, well, you know, you're debating in your mind. Like, you know, I got to do this. Well, I got to do that, you know, so they can say, is that what I told you? Or is that what you're thinking? And we don't obey, so God sent other people. And then when the day comes, when your judgment comes, and you say, well, how can you, you know, I didn't know. I just thought maybe, well, I sent many people, but you didn't want to hear that. All you have to do is read the Bible and hear what they're saying and see if it's lined up. It is. So we are caught up in ourselves, and we'll stop doing the things that God asks us to do. That's why, and then by and by, if you ain't suffering, one day you will. You know, it's really a shame. But anyway, I just wanted to say, the shameful thing is, who are we to try to be ruled over someone and you're not letting the Father rule over you. He said, bring all people to me. Why are you caught up in yourself? Why are you putting people out because not to your satisfaction? Because the Constitution says this, or I had written out the how you say that, a contract. I would just say, that's the way our church rules. We had all agreed, and we had business meeting that it's going to be like this. I think that people should do this. If they don't do that, I think they should just forget about it. If they haven't paid tithes, then we can't help them with their bills or things like that. In the olden days, they brought everything that they had. I mean, the things that people can use, and people just use it. Jesus says, do unto others as you would have do unto you. If you would see one that needs some clothing, why would you give them something you done wore and is starting to tear? You don't want nobody to do that to you. You're supposed to do it just like it was you. That's why he says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Get the best. Put the best on them. You'll get your reward in heaven. Stop looking for fast money. That's the end, is destruction. I just want to say, if you don't get out of what you're doing, you preachers, y'all going to hell. You're going to hell. And don't say, she's judging, she's putting in our place. No, the Bible judges you. You're putting your own self in your place because you've been warned from the Bible. And since you don't listen to that, somebody's got to tell. And that doesn't mean that you have to. You don't have to. But when you go to hell, then you'll know why. That's not judging. That's crying aloud, sparing not. And that applies to me and anybody else. Everybody needs correction. When I say, God, what is it? Is this, if it's something that's displeasing you that I'm doing, reveal it to me. Even if I'm not even sure, because I don't know it all. Wow. I guess I have to keep on making videos, and a whole lot of other people too, because they're not listening. I will probably feel bad, but you can't feel really sorry for them because they want to go on. They are bewitched. They are really think that they are anointed under the God. They think what they're feeling is God. But anytime you reject people, that's not God's spirit. So you have been so gone to yourself that you don't know the difference between the touch of the devil that make you think you getting a touch and make you feel versus God. God is different. You'll feel a lightness, you'll feel a truth, you'll feel anointing. The devil make you feel something. That's it. Like, hey, that was God. God agreed. No, that was the devil. And you can't tell the difference between the devil's voice and God's voice because you've been dabbling so long, you think what you do here, I heard it loud and clear. You heard the devil loud and clear. He's running your life. Anyway, get in the anointing. Get under your sackcloth. This is the time that we need to do that. Pray for your soul that you don't miss the mark.